I just want to make this clear. This is not to be used as an excuse for black women not taking accountability. Baby girl, get it together. Okay, now let's get into the video.
And that they're right to disrespect. But when I hear brothers talk like this discourse we having now, we act like we don't understand.
No,
There's reasons for that shit.
I do understand. Women are so valuable. You get what I'm saying? Like, I think women ground men and help them, you know, propel to the next level. I think men get further in life with a woman, right? But when if I'm a hardworking man, but I'm only looked at as resources, and then she's ready to jump on Tom, Dick, and Harry because he got flash, he's shining a little bit more, his access to money is quicker than mine. It's kind of hard to have that.
Well, no, one, I agree with you, but that's not all sisters.
No, it's not.
And if you're constantly running into that type of woman, then the problem is you, because you're attracting a certain low vibrational energy. Why?
Now, I don't know if I'm going to go any further than that, because that's kind of the gist of what I want to react to, what I wanted to react to within the conversation. Now, I commented on this and I was like, yeah, you know, Dr. Umar was right when he talks about the it's another part where he talks about how this feeds into their narrative, kind of feeds into the feminist agenda, and you know, black men taking responsibility for the black woman, such and such. And I'm like, yeah, he was on point, you know, talking about how, you know, black men should be, you know, should take responsibility for, you know, what has happened to black women to a degree. And you know, there was a lot of people that commented me back like, oh, well, what about the black woman? What about the baby? What about the black women with the baby dad, with the imaginary baby daddies? What about the black women? Oh no, these women just unaccountable. Oh no, da da da. Hey, just wanted to pop in real quick to say that I do understand the frustration that a lot of black men had towards my comment, and also over Dr. Umar's overall comments about black women and our issues, and honestly, not just black men, but black women's issue with his comments as well, because I kind of was a little, you know, pushing back on it as I was watching it, but I did in the end understand, which we're going to get into within the video, but within that, black women have been protected in the sense from criticism and accountability, you know, from really examining our issues. Shahrazad Ali has talked about that before. That's why her book was so controversial, because it was one of the first times we really saw that, especially from a black woman. So I completely understand why brothers would feel frustrated, even sisters like myself. It's frustrating when it's like we're finally getting these things out about black women, and then we're getting pushed back that, oh, well, no, it's not black women's fault. It's, you know, it's such and such fault. It's like, you know, it's time to have a full, honest conversation about the problems within our community and how black women contribute to those specifically. So, do understand the frustration. I was as well, but you know, let's watch the rest of the video, because I understand the full, what he said in full context. But I will say, I do understand why they are triggered, you know, and I do understand the black men. I understand both sides of this conversation, and I think that both of them are right to a degree. It's just that there has to be a median, and I don't think that's where either one of them meet in the middle. I feel like Dr. Umar is kind of more in the middle, because he's recognizing the system of white supremacy and it has more particularly on black women, but I don't think he's taking that more into account with black men. You know, even when like they ask, oh well, why aren't the black boys because black men aren't doing such, and it's like, you know, it's not just because black men just woke up one day and said we're not gonna take care of these young men. You know, just like one day black women, they wake up and just say, I'm just gonna have a bunch of babies, and you know, I'm gonna raise a community by myself, and like, it just didn't happen like that. You know what I'm saying? So I think there has to be grace given on both sides, you know, but I do get it in this scenario, because he's talking to men. You know, this is men talking amongst men. You know, if it was women there, if this was a balanced conversation where there was women as well, he might have shifted his perspective a little bit. You know, although Dr. Umar do be kind of, you know, I'm not gonna say he'd be slipping, but I've heard people say that before, and I've heard a couple of videos where I'm like, Brad, you kind of panda bearing a little bit. You know, I'm not gonna say you slipping, but you gotta panda bear a little bit to these women. All right, so that also could be why too. But yeah, again, I do understand what the other brothers are saying as well, because at the same time, you know, you do have to hold women accountable in their decisions. You know, like this was a setup, like Dr. Umar said, this was generationally, systematically done throughout generations to have destroy the black family, and put more pressure on the women and things of that nature. Like, these white supremacists knew, they're usually 50 steps ahead. They know what sort of effects it would have on women with taking the man out the home. But at the same time, like I was saying, I understand what these brothers are saying, because we still have to be held accountable regardless, because not all of us made these same choices. Some of our mothers did choose to still try their hardest to remain feminine. Some of our mothers chose to try their hardest to find another man to get remarried, or to get married. Some of our mothers did actually try that route, did actually do what they thought was best for us, which was having another man in the home, point blank, period. Even if they didn't necessarily get remarried or whatever the case may be, they still was able to let their children be influenced by men, whether it's men in the family, a preacher or a teacher or a coach or something like that. They still made sure that masculine influence was there. They did whatever they had to do to make sure they had some sort of balance, especially if they didn't have it at home. So there does have to be some responsibility on women, because some of these women, it's partially black men's fault why we have the selection of Pookie and Ray Rays that we have. But also, like they saying, some of these sisters is choosing Pookie and Ray Rays over their Elijahs. Some of them are choosing bad, and that's not on. That is not completely on black men. That shouldn't just be like, oh, well, that's your fault because this all we got. Because vice versa. What are black men choosing from? This is shout out to Sister Sarah Lee. I actually want to play with one or two of her clips right quick. But she's known for holding black women accountable. One of her most viral or biggest books, best-selling books, is The Black Man's Guide to Understanding a Black Woman, where she exposes the many horrible truths, that about black women. Whose fault is it from their perspective? Is it still their fault? It's all on them that they don't have the prime women they want to choose from as well. It's like it's not fair. That's not a balanced way of looking at things. And that's also not feeding into a healthier or more progressive mindset, a way to resolve issues by just pinning it on one side or the other, Now, we'll say, I seen a lot of people dragging this brother, and this was the main reason why I wanted to pull this up, why I want to pull up one of her clips, which I'm about to do. Because I see a lot of people dragging Dr. Umar because of his perspective on this, and how his thinking in that black men, should have some sort of responsibility with the condition of black women. And I agree with him that, if we're going to say that the black man is the leader, the black man should be the head of the household, the black man is the first protector, is the first cover, then you have to understand that within that position, you hold a great deal of responsibility for what happens to everyone beneath you, under you, or behind you. You know what I'm saying? And so Shahrazad Ali has touched on this before, although we know because it's a lot of people in the manosphere, a lot of red pill brothers that quote this sister, and so y'all know that this sister holds us accountable. She still is to this day. She's done some recent interviews, okay, where she's still holding black women accountable, okay. And she stays 10 toes on. She hasn't really changed her perspective at all, and how she feels about our issues, and how honestly she feels like some of them is worse to a certain degree on certain aspects. So, but this is a clip from her talking about the Black Man's Guide to Understand Black Women. I actually want to read a piece from there as well. I'm gonna read a piece from her, but this is a clip of her talking about that book right here. Just watch this real quick.
I have security, mostly not because of black women. We ain't gonna do nothing but fuss. I have security because of black men. The book puts the black man on point. They get hysterical, they go into denial, they jump the seats, charge down the aisles. You'd be surprised. So it's not the black woman that this book is upset, because many of our black men don't want to take responsibility for their families. Many of them, not just because of financial reasons, many of them have accepted so much of the hype in the media that they don't know what it would be like to be in charge. They got doubt. They have fear. They are afraid that they will fail. We are all afraid of failure. The major tool that was used against us during slavery was the implication of fear. We have to get past that fear. Our men have to stop being scared to say, yes, I'm the head of the house. Every woman want to know her limitations with her man. Any woman that can do a man any kind of way and have her way with him and say anything she wants to him, she ain't gonna want him in a minute.
And see, shout out to the queen. Okay, I'm gonna play one more of her clips as well. But even within that, I think this is a part, at least, of what Dr. Umar was talking about. Is that we have to, as individuals and as groups, as a community, on both sides, men and women. We both have to take responsibility, because yes, the Black woman is out of order. Yes, she rebels against authority. Yes, she is not been submitting as she should be. She has not been in her role as she should be. But you also, there's two sides to the coin, baby. Because just like these Black women have been laying down and having these children out of wedlocks, there has been Black men giving these children to these women. Just like Dr. Umar, Dr. Umar actually says this, like, yeah, that nothing happens without you giving her your seed. She can't have no babies without your seed. Ain't nobody forcing you to give them your seed. So you have to take responsibility in that way. You have to understand that although, yes, she's rebellious, she's masculine, she has a smart mouth, she's da-da-da, she's this, that, and other. You have been there while this is happening. You are the first layer of protection, brother. You have to recognize what you have allowed to happen to your woman. This is something that has been allowed. Okay, this is not something that we just jumped up one day and we just got the idea doing and we just wanted to do it. This is something that has slowly and surely unraveled because of the cracks in the protection we have had. And again, this is not to just put it on Black men. Brothers, slow your roll before you come in my comments talking about, no, but the Black woman needs to. I understand. Please check the rest of my content, brother. Most of my content is directed on Black women and our issues. Please, I understand. I get it. But to put everything on them, again, I understand what Dr. Umar is saying, where that leads into the feminist agenda, because just like the sister just said, you have to take control. You are the leader. You have to claim that. You have to put yourself as the head. You must define that for yourself, what you will and will not tolerate. As a group, not only just individually, but as a group, what you will and will not tolerate. Because women respect that. As a matter of fact, let me read from the Holy Grail, right, of Black woman accountability. Let me read a little insert from this book right quick. Firstly, she starts with, but this is before I get to the second part. Firstly, she starts with, her confusion about her role and purpose and the interface of Western society have produced her inappropriate behavior. Her main fault is that she wants to have her own way. It is not an unfair generalization to charge the Black woman with being out of control due to her rebellion against the authority of the Black man. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I repeat, it is not unfair. It is not an unfair generalization to charge, aka to hold the Black woman accountable, okay? With being out of control to her rebellion against the authority of the Black man. So she's starting off holding Black women accountable. She does this throughout the whole book, but she also says, still, this report does not absolve or vindicate the Black man from his negligence in allowing the Black woman to become distasteful. He cannot continue to shirk his portion of the responsibility for her outrageous and embarrassing conduct. And he is the only one qualified and justified to put the Black woman back in order. The only one. Hey, sorry, this is my last time interjecting, but I did want to add on that although I do agree that ultimately it is on the Black man to correct the Black woman, at this point we are so rebellious and so far gone, and some of us are just not even in the state of mind to even hear out a righteous Black man, the most righteous of Black men, for correction, that it is going to take sisters like myself and others and other elders, especially like the Queen here, to help guide and also correct some of these sisters, because we are just so, egregiously out of order at this point. From that, we can hear the balance in her perspective. Like she understands where Black women are, where our problems are, where Black men, what problems Black men have with us, but also where the root of the issue is. And she's not just throwing this on Black men. She's not saying this is just Black men's fault, because she's also recognizing the system of white supremacy, which is why she says the interference of Western society. And throughout the book, she talks about racism and white supremacy and things of that nature, and how that affects the Black family in general. She understands that that's the root cause of the problem. But you also have to understand that root cause was able to seep through to us because it got through our first layer of protection, which is the Black man. You know what I'm saying? So, but let me play this other clip from her as well.
Do you fault the Black man for anything? Yes, absolutely. I fought him for lying.
For lying?
Yes.
About?
All kinds of things. He won't tell us the truth about his life because he knows that we can't handle the truth. And so he will lie to us about his activities and his life because it preserves the peace for him, he thinks. But we know that lies don't build a relationship. They create doubt, suspicion, and fear. And then we exhibit those behavior traits. And fear in the female is always translated as hostility. And so, see, it's a locked-in circle that I'm trying to get us to look at, how these things are connected and what they produce. A lot of the anger and frustration we have at each other is really not even at each other. It's about our conditions. It's about something that's almost been genetically sent down through our womb because our men were not able to protect us. They were not able to keep the slave master from snatching our babies out of our womb, to allow us to have food or clothing. A lot of different kinds of things that happen to us that just make us tremble. They make us frightened. And so now it's to a point where everything that the man does, we have our total emotional balance, our self-esteem, our self-respect, everything that we stand for as a female, we have it tied right now to our men's genitals. And it depends on what he does with those about whether or not
let's talk about that for just a moment.
We love the sister. Shout out to the queen, Ali. Please shut up. If y'all ain't read this book, please go read this damn book. Please, black men and women, please go read this book. The sister is genius. She's brilliant. Okay. But like I said, she breaks it down so simply. All right. And plainly for you to understand, it's that it's not even about, I love how she says, it's not even that we're mad at each other, we're mad at our conditions. That's really what the issue is. And so we project these things onto each other. We love to attack each other. Oh, she just need to choose better. Oh, he just needs to do better. Oh, I'm better than she thinks she's better than me. Well, that's because I am better than you. Because we put these things on each other and ignore the context that we're all under this system of white supremacy. We're all victims. We're all victims of the same oppression. And we're on both sides, although we're both experiencing this oppression. It's coming out in different ways. The side effects, the symptoms of it's coming out in different ways. And so it's making us think that we should be against each other when really all we're doing is feeding more into that when we do that. When we're just pointing the finger and you did this and you did that, and we're not really taking self-accountability. And that's on both sides for men and women. It's just that for brothers, because you are the leaders, because you are the body follows the head. The head tells the body what to do. And so if you're going to take on that responsibility, if you're going to say you're this masculine, you're this leader, you're this authority, you're this I should be submitted to, you have to take responsibility in that. And that's why I think really where Dr. Umar was coming from. Now, did he go a little far? He didn't get a brother's no grace, and he can, you know what I'm saying? He kind of went on him. I get it. You know, I can understand why some of the brothers was not feeling that. You know what I'm saying? But again, that's men amongst men. Y'all can, I get why he was trying to, at least in this context, I get why he was trying to just solely focus on the accountability of men because he's amongst men. He's on a podcast talking about dating issues. He wants to talk about the responsibility men have in this situation, So I will give him grace on that. But again, there cannot just be they just need to choose better and that's just it. Like it's true to a degree, but we also have to look at, again, everything in full context. There has to be a level of grace within these conversations. We cannot feed into this gender war. And I'm all for holding Black women accountable, baby. I'm going to continue to do so. My main focus will always be Black women, of course, because I'm a Black woman myself. But at the same time, I will not ignore context. I will not ignore history. I would not ignore outside symptoms or outside attacks that have caused these issues. Now, and I don't want to leave this video with Black women thinking that these are excuses. This video is not to be used as an excuse to say, oh, well, I can act like this because such and such. No, we still need to reside back in our feminine nature. We still need to reflect and reconstruct some of our issues. We definitely need to do some self-reflection. We definitely need to do some self-work, period. All right. And that should be our main issue. Just like Dr. Umar was with the men and he's trying to focus on the issues. As women, that needs to be ours. Our job is not to just say, oh, well, look what this is y'all fault. Y'all allowed this to happen to us. So look, I ain't got to do nothing until you do this. It's like, no, because at the end of the day, brothers can work as hard as they can. Although it is their job to lead us into revolution, into liberation, they can only do but so much if we're working against them. You know, so brothers can line up and come together and find these solutions for the communities and do things of that nature. But if you're not allowing the children to follow behind the brother, you're not allowing the children to take the discipline or take the knowledge, things that are the guidance from the brothers, then we're working against them. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of brothers already feel like that. A lot of brothers have tried to do things for our community, you know, and do things to combat the system of white supremacy and what they've done to us and done to our families. But it's harder. It's a lot harder when we're being used as tools against them. You know what I'm saying? So we still have to check ourselves as Black women. This is not an excuse for you to get up on this internet and act like this ain't none of this shit your fault and you could just still do what you want to do because a Black man has allowed this to happen. Like, no. You are still a grown woman. We are still women, and we still have a responsibility ourselves. All right. And once you know better, baby, you got to do better. It's just that simple. So, yeah. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments below. I thought this was a very interesting conversation. Please give me your thoughts below, baby. Please go check out Daily Wrap-Up's crew. Full interview with Dr. Umar. It's 2 parts to it. Both parts are really good. I watched both parts through and through. Really good interview. Other than that, baby, that's all I got. Shout out to the queen. All right, y'all. We do not play by our friends. You fuck with the team.